Like you were mentioning, is it a little bit of an odd week with what folks in Houston have gone through, and they're preparing in Austin, and this is on everybody's mind? And
Yeah, I think odd is an appropriate word because it's not the norm. You've taken away the consistency of a routine of a team. But like I said earlier, that program is battle tested. They're proven. First and foremost, you have thoughts and prayers for the victims in the city of Houston and Corpus and everywhere else within our state that was affected by the unfortunate hurricane. So that's first and foremost. And so we send our condolences, we send our thoughts and prayers out for the University of Houston as well during that time. And then the reality is, that team had enough insight and experience, I would guess, to vacate early enough when they went to Austin this past weekend and have been preparing since then. We've been doing the same. So we're anticipating both teams continuing to prepare for the games. There's some logistical things. Our administrations and officials have been communicating with one another, but we expect this team to come out inspired. My experience over the years just dealing with natural disasters have brought our teams closer together in an odd way. You draw closer during time of pain or suffering with one another, and we've played inspired football over the years during that time, whether it's been Katrina or any other natural disaster.
what kind of offense has Major Applewhite put together?
Yeah, he served there, of course, the last 2 years as the offensive coordinator. He brought Brian Johnson in from Mississippi State, who's very similar, and from a philosophical standpoint, doing the things that they do from a offensive standpoint. So I think there'll be a lot of carryover. There's some tweaks in it, a little more, if you will, in Brian's history and what they've done at State with Dak and those guys. If they've done a little more design run stuff with the quarterback, so you may can expect some of that stuff from them. But very similar to what they've done, the zone read stuff, the zone principle stuff, RPO stuff. We'd anticipate that from them offensively.
Houston's defensive line is, of course, a great one. Do you think your offensive line, though, got a pretty good tune-up for them, considering how good your defensive line has been throughout fall camp?
Yeah, when you look at them as a defensive whole, you can start anywhere, whether it's their defensive line, their linebacker core experience. They return 2 veteran defensive safeties, veteran corner. They transfer or take one guy from offense, receiver, and move him to defense, who's probably the fastest guy on their team. So they're a very, very talented defense that can defend the run as well as the pass, and they've shown history of doing so. As far as our offensive line, what we're going to do is we're going to evaluate their personnel. We're going to look at them from a schematic standpoint. Certainly, there's a new defensive coordinator that's on board with that program now. We'll evaluate the things that shows his tendencies over the years, but also some of the carryover stuff that they did a year ago as well, and put the best game plan possible together to be able to attack this team. But we have our work cut out. They're a very, very quality football team that is going to require us to play at our very best.
You talked about you expect U of H to be inspired, but Dalton Sturm has a ton on his shoulders from football. He's from down there in Goliad, and that community took a rough hit. You expect him to have a lot of heart and
well, that's who he is. He's all heart. He's tough. He's a leader. He has a tremendous heart. Our focus will be laser. We'll be prepared to play this football game. We'll play inspired football because it's part of our DNA. That's who we are, and so we'll get them prepared to play, not just Dalton, but our entire team.